So, from this passage, what did the woman bring for Maggie? How did they treat her? And why didn't they take her with them? The answer of these questions will be from this passage. Take her to the poorhouse, said the rough man, of whom the question, what is to be done with Maggie, was asked. Somebody asked this question to the rough man who was among the crowd, that what should be done with Maggie. And that rough man answered that she should be taken to the poorhouse. Nobody is going to be bothered with her. Bothered here means take care. Nobody is ready to take her. Nobody will take care of her. So she should be taken to the poorhouse. Poorhouse means asylums where the children who don't have the parents live there. The poorhouse is a sad place for sick and helpless child, answered one. So somebody from the crowd answered that poorhouse is a bad place or a very sick place for a child. For your or mine, said the other, lightly speaking. But for this brat it will prove a blessed change. So he said that for your child, for my child who has a good parents, for them poorhouse is a bad place, but for this child it will be a blessing. She will be kept clean, have healthy food and doctor meal, which is more than can be said for her past condition. She will be clean, there will be given good food and medication also, and her condition will be better than the condition when she was with her mother. This is the conversation of the people among crowd. So it is also needed to be learned that what is a poor house, why it is a bad place for the children, why it is a good place for Maggie. There was a reason in that, but still it didn't satisfy. There was a reason, good reason, that he will be taken care by the people of pure house, but everybody was not satisfied. The day following the day death was made, dead burial. So the same day the burial of the body was done. At few neighbors were at the miserable hour, but none followed the dead cart as it bore a unhonored remains of the pauper grave. So the poor dead body, the poor condition of the dead body, in a poor condition she was taken to the grave. So nobody was ready to go with the dead body. Very few neighbors went. Rest of the neighbor left in the hut. Farmer Jones, after the coffin was taken out, placed John in his wagon and drove out. So Farmer Jones, he took John with him and went to his house when the coffin of the dead body was taken from there. Mrs. Ellis spoke to Kate with the hurry. Dear means in hurry. She spoke to bid your sister goodbye and drew the tearful children apart. Scarcely heard their lips had touched in a sobbing farewell. She told Katie to say goodbye to her sister, and then hurriedly she also went from there. The children were weeping, but she didn't take care. She didn't care for that. Hastily others went out, some glancing at Maggie and some resolutely refraining from a look, until all had gone. She was alone just beyond the threshold. Joe Thompson, the wheelwright, paused and said to the blacksmith's wife, who was hastening off with rest. So everybody looked at Maggie. Nobody took care of them. They simply left the place in the hurriedly. Only Joe Thompson was there, and he was there and told to blacksmith's wife. Blacksmith's wife was also in a hurry to leave that place. It is a cruel thing to leave her so. Joe Thompson said this, it is a bad if we will leave Maggie alone here. Then take her to the poorhouse. She will have to go there, answered the blacksmith's wife, springing away and leaving Joe behind. When he asked the question, when he said that it is bad to leave her here, so blacksmith's wife answered that then you should take her to the poorhouse. She said, and then left that place. Only Joe Thompson was left behind. For a little while the man stood with the puzzled air. Then he turned back and went to the hovel again. Hovel here means hut. First he was confused, but then he entered in the hut. Maggie was with painful effort had raised herself to an upright position and was sitting on the bed, straining her eyes upon the door, out of which all had just departed. A vague terror had come into her thin and white face. So everybody had gone. She was tried to look outside, the hut, and there was a sadness, there was a fear on her face. "Oh, Mr. Thompson," she cried out, catching her suspended breath, "don't leave here alone." So, when she saw Mr. Thompson, she simply said in sadness that, "Don't leave me alone in the hut." Though rough in exterior, Joe Thompson, the wheelwright, had a heart. It was very tender in some place. He liked the children and was pleased to have them come to his shop, where sleds and wagons were made or mended for the village. Lads without a draft on their hoarded sixpences. So Joe Thompson looked very rough, but his heart was very soft. His heart was very tender. Even he liked the children very much, and whenever children come to his shop, he's always very happy, and he repaired the wagons wheels and mended the village carts. That was the work. This passage is about the personality of Mr. Thompson and work or profession of Mr. Thompson. "No, dear," he answered in a kind voice, going to bed and stooping down over the child. "You shall not be left here alone." Then he wrapped her with the gentleness almost of a woman in clean bedclothes which some neighbors had brought, and lifting her in a strong arm, bore her out into the air and across the field that lay between the hovel and his home. So he answered her that he would not leave her alone. Then he wrapped her just like a gentleness of a woman. Very gently he wrapped her, took her in her arm, and then covered the distance from the hut to his home. That is across the field. He started walking in the field, which would cover the distance of the between the hut and his home. Now this passage is about the personality and nature of Mrs. Joe Thompson. Now Joe Thompson's wife, who happened to be a childrenless, was not a woman of saintly temper, not much given to self-denial for others' good, and Joe had well-grounded doubts touching the manner of greeting he should receive on his arrival. So she was a childless lady, had a bad temper, and she didn't like the people do anything against her will. So Joe Thompson was well grounded thought, means he was 100% clear how he would be welcomed by his wife when he would arrive to his house. Mrs. Thompson saw him approaching from the window, and with ruffling feathers met him a few paces from the door. As he opened the garden gate and came, he bore a precious burden, and he felt it be so. As his arms held her and penetrated his feeling, a bond had already coded itself around them both, and love was springing into them. Penetrated here means felt some feeling. Now he opened the gate, first gate, then entered, and he was feeling that he had a very precious burden of a child, and there was a feeling which was entering into the heart of Mr. Thompson from the heart of Maggie. There was a feeling of love between both Joe Thompson and Maggie, and in this way he entered into his house.